How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to talk about Phainon, however you want to say his name, Kevin, for those that enjoy Honkai Impact. And I know it's been a very long time since I made my last video. I don't even remember what the last video was for this channel. But we are going to come back, hopefully, for 3.4, which is the mega patch with all the different things when it comes to new characters like Fineon, like Saber, and also Archer. We're also looking at buffs for some of my favorite characters like Blade and also Silverwolf. So there's a lot of stuff I do want to talk about. I'm very excited to come back into Star Rail. It's been quite some time since I've kind of delved deep into the game, and also looking at some of the new stuff that they're adding to the game as well. But this video specifically, as we always do, is going to be talking about Phainon, Kevin, however you want to say it. Might say Kevin, just so I don't keep saying his regular name wrong. So this character specifically is going to be very interesting because we've been getting a lot of, I guess, connecting pieces to teams and not necessarily hyper carries. I think the last hyper carry we probably had was, for the most part, I would say Herda. If not Herda, you could technically lump in Casterus. The only reason I don't say Casterus because she's Remembrance and she kind of works off a different system, I guess you could say, in a different way. She works off of Sunday the same way Fineon works on Sunday, but it's a little bit different just because you're boosting up the Dragon plus Cash. There's a different way of playing slightly with that team, but realistically the last person that we've gotten that was similar to this was Herda. So it's been quite some time. We've been getting a lot of sub DPSs slash more utility based characters like Anoxia. We've been having characters like Cypher. We have characters like Hyacinth, and all of these other characters that are just connecting pieces to different teams and overall boost to different teams as well. So Phainon, or Kevin, is going to be a more hyper carry style character, which is going to be very interesting because his team, for the most part, seems to be very, and I mean very, reliant on buffs that come from other teammates, because whenever he is targeted, he gets core flames, and core flames, rip to my girl Ho because she of course can never have fun with the new team. She's permanently stuck to Dot, which thankfully enough, because Kafka's getting buffed, so it kind of don't matter. But anytime he's targeted by an ally, he gets a core flame, and whenever he does a skill, he does a core flame. So this means characters like Sunday, characters like Bronya, characters like Sparkle, and all the other supports like Ruame, Tribi, all these characters are going to be gaining another teammate or another team that he wants to be on. Because anytime you use the Tribi skill, anytime you use a Ruame ult, Ruame skill, this allows the whole team to get targeted, which includes Fineon, which gives them a core flame. There are much other characters that you could use potentially with this team, like having something like Fugue if you want to do something crazy with Super Break, or you want to lower their weakness, especially with Eidolons from Fugue. That could potentially be really cool. Healers as well could be a target as well, because you could look at something like your skill on Gallagher with a really fast healer. This will allow Kevin to get a bunch of core flames to get him into his ult. Now, one of the more interesting things that I think a lot of us notice within this stream, or for Fineon specifically, is that he carries every buff that he gets into his ult phase, which allows him to do a bunch of damage and just allows him to just oversaturate how much he's getting, which this can be some really insane stuff, and of course would require some type of planning right before you use his ult, but making sure that you got all the buffs in. And I really just want to know how much damage he's specifically going to do. Now, I do think his method of play style is just one of the coolest things ever, like being able to advance for the whole enemy team or the whole enemy wave, allowing them to attack, and then he does a big counter hit based on how many people attack them. Absolutely insane for the most part. I love that. That is the coolest thing ever. You either can do that, or you can just do a regular skill, and then he does a big AoE to end it all up. I think it's just a really strong character with what he's able to do. Now, there are a couple of things that do, for the most part, feel weird with his team. Now, right now, for the most part, he does have a bunch of characters that would go well with them. Of course, he has a lot of the advanced forwarding units in the game right now. When it comes to Bronya, when it comes to Sunday, when it comes to Sparkle, technically all these characters would fit really well with them because they all target basically one character or multiple characters, and this allows them, for the most part, to get off those core flames for Fineon or Kevin, however you want to say it. But looking at specific characters like Bronya, like Sparkle, I feel like there's a different type of character that we should be expecting in the future, especially with one of the drip marketed characters that were shown off, that are Harmony character. And I could definitely see that Harmony character being put onto Kevin's team, just because it just doesn't feel right having Bronya, this little bit of an outdated unit. I know that's a little bit mean to say for a standard character we've had for quite some time. She's still pretty good with what she provides. Of course, the 100% advance forward, that attack boost that she gives, the damage boost she gives. She's still a good unit, especially if you have her Eidolon out. You could have some really crazy stuff with what you're giving Fineon, especially with some speed tuning, especially with the timing of his ult. You could carry in those Bronya buffs, which are really strong, into his ult phase, which would be really nice. This is just overall, I feel like you could give a little bit more. I feel like there will be a replacement to Bronya and Sparkle, although it would be really cool to allow you to have that overflow of skill points, being able to give that crit damage as well from her ultimate. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a better teammate that's going to synergize well with the whole team, plus allowing Fineon to get more core flames a little bit faster, just because he is going to be a little bit of a weird character, just because he wants to have as much damage as possible, but you kind of want to make him as fast as possible too, just because he does need to spam his skill. He does need to get targeted by his teammates to be able to get off those core flames, because he wants to be in its ult as much as humanly possible. It's very, very, very reminiscent of Jingli Yu type of playstyle. Like, you never want to leave your ascended state, you never want to leave your ult state. You want to stay in there as much as possible, and you want to be there as frequently as possible. This is a character that's going to be throw all your eggs in one basket, hope the basket knocks out that enemy, because that ult is supposed to hit super duper hard. And I just feel like we are going to be seeing more pieces of the puzzle related to his type of playstyle a little bit more sooner than we think, for the most part. I think just because it just seems that there are no good third teammates for Fineon specifically as Hypercarry goes, because we have a lot of great supports, a lot of great debuffers, but this dude doesn't want debuffers. He wants a crap ton of buffs. He is a definition of a Hypercarry as far as you can get it. He does not want anything else but buffers, and I think that's just a really cool playstyle. We haven't had something like that in a very long time, and he doesn't really want a second part of the show. He doesn't want a sub DPS. He doesn't want anything that's going to help him out damage wise. He is the damage, which I think is a really cool option to have as a character, and definitely something I'm very excited to play. I think this is just a really cool thing to have, where he is the star of the show. He doesn't want anything else. He doesn't care about anything else. And that being said, we haven't had a character like that since the Herda, which the Herda doesn't mind having other characters help her out. This character doesn't, which I think is cool. But that's pretty much it when it comes to looking at Fineon specifically, and how I feel about him, how cool he is when it comes to his playstyle. I think he's just going to be very nice. Overall, I think he's going to get stronger as time goes by. Now, does he have a potential chance to get a little bit, not power creep, I don't want to say it like that. Does he have a higher chance of fizzling out later in the future? It really does depend on what he has in his talent in regards to, you know, having certain teammates, or whether he is able to reduce defense, reduce pen, anything like that in his kit. But this technically would work out with any buffer that comes out in the future. Technically he gets stronger, so he does have a pretty nice stay in accounts for the most part in future viability, just because if a stronger a stronger support comes out with more speed bonuses, more advanced forward, you can take multiple turns, you can use your skill twice or something like that. You can do some crazy stuff in the future with future supports, and with that being said, that just allows Fineon to get stronger as time goes by. So I think it's a character that definitely can get stronger and stronger as time goes by, because he doesn't necessarily need more attacking units. He just needs straight buffers, and we'll always get buffers in this game without a doubt. So I cannot wait to see what type of teams we're going to be rocking with this character specifically, and I think he's going to be by far one of my most excited for characters, or one of my most anticipated characters, even more so than the Fate Cloud. I'm crazy to say that, I know. I haven't watched Fate, so it doesn't hit me the same as it might hit y'all, but I love Kevin from HI3, and he is very Kevin. See y'all guys in the next one. It's been a long time. Hopefully the next video is gonna be talking about Archer or Saber, and then we'll go in line of those things, and then we'll eventually talk about the buffs that Silverwolf and Blade are getting that I'm absolutely excited for. So other than that, thank you guys for watching. See y'all in the next one. Peace.